What's going on, guys? It's Mondo here. Sorry for the quality. I have to use this mic, so it's not the best. I'm working on getting everything resituated and refixed after this weekend. I went to a conference, and well, you know, I left my little adapter there to put everything in. So I'm gonna have to live with it. But with that being said, make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on notification bell, comment down below, guys, what you guys want to see next. And today we are gonna be talking about the NBA All Star Game. Uh, yeah, I watched it. Watched the Rising Stars Challenge. Wasn't much there, huh? Man. Where do I start? I mean, the Rising Stars showed effort on Saturday, but then we go on to Sunday. The only really competitive game I would say uh, is of course the Rising Stars versus Shaq's team of old heads. Mostly because the old people didn't want to lose, right? You don't want to lose to somebody younger and less experienced than you. So that was the only game that felt competitive, and even the score shows it, right? Like it wasn't even close, really. Like, excuse me, like Dalton Connect and Ryan Dunn, two bench players, pretty much were pretty much doing their thing, and that was it. Like Amin Thompson, all around player. What do you expect else from him? You would expect more from Trace Jackson Davis, being I think the tallest person on that team besides Zach Eady, right? And Zach Eady only played like what, a couple minutes. Wait, oh, I can see 3 minutes. Played 3 minutes. You're saying he only got 2 points, which is the same that Zach Eady got with zero boards. Zach Eady got two. Amin Thompson had three. Like, come on, man. And it was that was an embarrassment. But then you go over to, of course, these boys over here, the old people. Which we gotta talk about this. LeBron, what's going on, bud? Like, you could have had Norman Powell. You could have had, I don't know, LaMelo Ball in there even, right? You can go down the list of more deserving All-Stars. Yet you don't say nothing until an hour before? Or was it half hour or an hour before? I don't even remember. You had so much time to say it and you didn't say nothing, right? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it's just disappointing. It's very disappointing on LeBron's part. And you know, yeah, it didn't matter if you look at the grand scheme of things because they ended up winning. But still, right? It's sad. It's sad that that happened. Um, excuse me. Yeah, let's go to the next game. Which I think this one was before the. If I was watching it correctly, I think this was before the Rising Stars and the old guys played. But you got Kenny's Young Stars versus Shaq's or Chuck's team, Charles Barkley's team, which are full of global players. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like Kenny's team going into it, mostly because they let Charles Barkley have three uh, of the top MVP players going in. Right? You had what is it? You had Giannis before he got hurt, and I think he was the one that was replaced by Trey Young. I want to say you let him get Giannis, you let him get Nikola Jokic, you let him get SGA, right? So put Trey Young off this team, which he rightfully deserved to be on this list, but Trey Young on this team, absolutely phenomenal, right? You needed another passer because who else were you putting besides Donovan Mitchell? But he's not a point guard in my opinion. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a well built team. especially after Giannis got taken out due to injury, which I want to commend him for. At least he said it, in enough time to get Trey Young in, right? And I wish LaMelo Ball was able to play because he's a stud. He's a young man, young lad. But you know, I mean, you wouldn't expect much out of Kenny's team. I'm gonna be honest. Um, Cade doing his thing, Darius Garland. It was like a well-rounded attack, but everyone knew that that was gonna happen because the global stars were gonna be you know playing hard, unlike the disappointment that happened. Then you get to the main game, the the finals, which can I say? I watched it on League Pass, the free version. It was disappointing. Like I would sit there for like 5 minutes, maybe at most. Then it would be another 5 minutes of ads. Then it's like, oh, they haven't played yet, but it's still showing the camera, and it's like, what's the point, right? What's the point of us even doing that? And sorry, I'm still recovering from being sick, but yeah, it was so disappointing. And of course, you have Jason Tatum, Steph Curry popping off this game. Uh, I mean, there was no defense really at all, besides maybe Victor a little bit. You can tell he was trying, but it was also like nobody else is trying, so you kind of look out of it. It was just disappointing, you know. You would expect better defense, right? And I'm not saying like go all out. I think I'm like what most analysts would say, right? You play maybe like you're playing the Pistons from last year, right? They can't score, so you might as well play some defense, but not a lot. You want to conserve your energy. It's kind of like that. So, like this year's Wizards, for example, right? They can't score at all, besides maybe Jordan Poole a little bit. So, you just pretty much, hey, go out there and play, but, still try to put up some points, right? I think that's the type of thing that we wanted. At least a game like that, excuse me, or similar to it. Now, I'm not going to go as far back and to say, like, oh, we're expecting back whenever Kobe was in the All Star game, right? We're not expecting that. But we're expecting, at least a little bit of defense and a show being put on offense, right? And it can't be, you know, like it's been like maybe 90-10, maybe. We're expecting more of like maybe 80-20, 80 to offense, 20 to defense, right? We want a little bit more defense being played, and it's just not being played, right? And, excuse me, and you can blame mostly the OGs, right? Steph, he's not a great defensive player, but whenever he needs to slide him, he slides him, right? Dame doesn't really play defense. James Harden's never been known for defense. KD, underrated on defense, but still, like, you gotta he still got to put effort in, right? Jason Tatum, supposedly one of the best two-way players, didn't really show that too much this during the All-Star game, right? Excuse me. But yeah, then we get into three-point contest is always a show, right? I'm not even gonna get into the whole fiasco of the what is it called? The skills challenge. We know that was Chris Paul being Chris Paul. I mean, he found a loophole and he did it. I mean, that should have been thought out because you were getting Chris Paul in there, so it should have been thought out. But no, that was an embarrassment. Then dunk contest, we just need stars in there, man. I mean, Stephon Castle, he on that one that he got, I think a 47 on in the finals. You don't get 47s in the finals, man. You can't keep missing dunks in the finals. Like if you're in the finals, you're one of the best. You gotta go perform. And he missed like 4 or 5 in the finals. Like it's embarrassing. And congrats to Mac McClung. You know, 3 times, 3 times in a row, a three-peat. But no offense to him, but we don't want to see him. Right? He puts on a show every single time, which I'm happy for. The main reason why I watched the dunk contest the past 3 years was because of Mac McClung. So I'll put him. I'll give him that. But it was just embarrassing. It was just a waste of my time, waste of y'all's time probably too. The only way it can be fixed is putting stars, right? Putting stars back in and making it part of what is it? Excuse me, part of their contracts even, right? I've heard people say, let's make them unguaranteed contracts, are partially guaranteed contracts, right? Like, I think that's probably the only way you're going to be able to do it. Which honestly, that's what's going to have to happen if we want a better performance being put out there, is putting money on the line, not giving them more money, taking away money, because they're making so much money. Like they're getting paid ridiculous amounts, right? They're complaining that that they have to play 35 games minimum, or 65 games, excuse me, to get on all NBA, all defense, all all these different teams. Okay, let's put some money to get taken away if they don't perform at the All-Star game, right? Like, yeah, there's some teams where they're like, oh, if you get invited to the dunk contest and you perform in it, you get a stipend, right? Same with All Star appearances. You get a stipend if you make an All Star appearance. Put a little bit more on the line or take it away. Or say, like, hey, if you get put in the All Star game and you get, I don't know, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists with 3 steals and 5 blocks, right? Just as an example, right? I know that's over exaggerated numbers for some people. Put something like that on the line. Say, like, if you don't have a lower, or if the opponent's field goal percentage on you isn't, below, for example, 40%, then you don't get that stipend, right? You have to think outside the box. They're getting paid way too much money for them to just not play, right? And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous in my opinion. I think most people would agree with me on that. That it was just a joke this year. Again, for like what, the fourth or fifth year in a row, it's just ridiculous at this point. Um, I'm glad I watched the free version because I was not gonna pay money for that. That was just a waste of my time, waste of probably y'all's time, like I said, and something needs to change. Now you can say like, oh, what KD said whenever it was like, what is it? Might as well do away with it. Honestly, yeah, and then get rid of the accolade for the rest of the people coming up, because honestly, if they're not gonna play like all stars, they don't deserve it, right? That's why I don't go to games anymore, right? I think I went to like one game maybe, uh, for San Antonio Spurs whenever they were tanking, right? I didn't want to spend money for that, but I did, and it was enjoyable experience, yes. But then that takes off the money that they get then, in my opinion. That's what I think. Don't put more money on the pot. Take away money. That's the only way you're going to get any better results, in my opinion. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. Um, I know mine isn't a popular opinion, and that was just my takes on just real quick because this needs to go up in like half an hour. but but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop what y'all think in the comments below. What should be done to save the All Star game, but on All Star weekend. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, comment down below, guys, what you want to see next. And yeah, uh, keep be ready for Friday. Pretty fun. A pretty fun music thing is coming on Friday. So peace out.